Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We're running a simulation.
Yeah.
And I don't mean we're plugging ourselves into the Matrix or anything. I mean we're running a business simulation. One that is, I think, keeping pretty much every creator and CEO up at night in 2026.
It really is. It's a simulation about volume versus value. And honestly, it's about where you put your body.
Right. So here's the scenario we've put together from all this research.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you're a creator, maybe a business owner, just someone with a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a mission. You need to produce a full season of content. And we're not talking about a couple of, 15-second TikToks where you point at text bubbles.
No, not at all. We are talking about authority content. 10 episodes, 50 minutes each.
Which, if you do the napkin math, that's 500 minutes of finished high-quality video.
That's a lot.
It's roughly 8.5 hours of you talking to your audience. It is a massive amount of footage.
It's a mountain. And the conflict, the real fork in the road, is how you actually get that mountain climbed. Because right now, you have two very distinct, very loud camps yelling at you.
In the red corner, you've got option A, the digital-first route. Stay home, keep your pajamas on, and use high-end AI video generation tools.
Yeah.
We're talking VO3, Sora, LTX Studio.
The heavy hitters.
Yeah, the ones that promise you Hollywood without a camera crew.
Exactly. And then in the blue corner, you have option B, the physical world.
Right.
And for our case study, we're looking at a batch production facility, Voxel Micro Video Labs down in San Pedro.
Yeah.
You actually go there, sit in a chair, and talk to a lens.
And I think if you polled most people, before they saw the spreadsheets we're about to open up, their gut instinct would be identical.
Oh, absolutely. The narrative for the last 3 years has been, what? AI is faster, AI is cheaper.
Always.
And the physical world is the clunky, expensive dinosaur.
That's just the default setting in our brains now. Why leave my house when I can prompt it? But we've gone through the pricing sheets, the time logs, the rendering benchmarks, even the legal side for this specific 500-minute scenario. And the results are, well, they're backwards.
They completely flip. When you look at these sort of the hidden taxes of AI, the compute costs, the rendering latency, the refinement loops, the math doesn't just lean toward the physical studio.
It sprints there.
It sprints there.
So that's our mission today. We are going to audit the true cost of these 500 minutes.
Yeah.
We're looking at your bank account, your calendar, and frankly, your sanity. Because there is a number in this research, $15,000, that we need to talk about.
It's the number that changes everything.
Okay, let's start with part one, the financials. I want to look at the physical option first, Voxel, because, usually running a studio sounds expensive. What does it actually cost?
So Voxel's interesting because they operate on a time-based model. You're renting the environment, not paying per pixel, which is a key difference. Mm-hmm. Their pricing is structured around 50-minute sessions.
So if I book a session to record one episode, what's the damage?
They have a launch rate right now. They call it the Velocity Plan. It is incredibly lean. It's $30 per 50-minute session.
Wait, hang on. $30?
$30
for the whole session? You don't mean per minute?
No, for the session. That $30 gets you into a studio, 2 cameras, professional lighting, audio. It's a flat rate.
Okay, so for our 10-episode season,
you just multiply that by 10. The total cost for the room is $300.
$300 for an entire season of long-form content. I mean, that feels almost suspiciously low.
Yeah.
A videographer costs that per hour.
It's the micro model. High volume, low friction. But let's say you want to upgrade, right? You want the global leader suite.
But yeah, I'm a serious CEO room.
That one. A big room, 4-camera setup, the fancy backdrop. Even then, the price is $140 per session. So for your 10-episode season, the total comes to $1,400. And that includes 4K cameras, the lighting grid, the audio engineering, all of it.
So the cost is capped?
It's capped. It doesn't matter if you talk fast, talk slow, have a dense script. You are just paying for the time on the clock.
Right. So the absolute ceiling for the physical studio, for the luxury package, is around $1,400.
Yeah.
Now let's pivot to the AI side. Because in my head, and I think for most people, AI is supposed to be pennies on the dollar.
That's true if, and this is a big if, you're making 15-second clips. But remember our scenario. We're making 500 minutes of long-form content.
Right.
And AI pricing is based on compute. Yeah. You aren't paying for time. You're paying for every minute of video the machine has to generate.
Okay, so let's look at the high-end stuff. The cinematic AI, VO3, Sora, the tools that actually look like a movie and not, a cartoon.
This is where the sticker shock hits hard. The going rate for that high-end generation is roughly $30 per minute of video.
Whoa, stop. $30 per minute.
Per minute.
So Voxel is $30 for a session and AI is $30 for 60 seconds.
Roughly, yeah. And you have to do the multiplication. 500 minutes times $30.
It's $15,000.
Exactly, $15,000. And I need to be really clear about something. That is a conservative estimate. That number assumes you are incredibly lucky.
Lucky. How does luck factor into software?
It assumes you get the shot right on the first try, which, if you've ever used these tools, you know that almost never happens. We call this the refinement reality.
Okay, unpack that. Why does it matter so much?
Because high-end AI is probabilistic, not deterministic.
Break that down for us non-engineers.
Okay, think of a camera. A camera is deterministic. Light hits the sensor, physics happens, the image is recorded. It's the same every time.
Makes sense.
AI is probabilistic. It's essentially a slot machine. You type host sitting in a newsroom, and AI pulls the lever. Maybe it gives you a host with 3 hands.
Right.
Maybe the lighting changes halfway through the sentence. Maybe the eyes look in different directions.
So you have to throw that takeaway.
You throw it away, but, and this is the absolute kicker, you still pay for it.
You pay for the trash.
You pay for the trash.
That's a huge distinction. In a studio, I don't pay extra if I fumble a line. But with AI, if the computer fumbles the line, I'm still billed for the compute time.
Precisely. So that $15,000 price tag could easily balloon to $20,000, $25,000, depending on how lucky you get with the generation. It's the cost of trial and error billed to your credit card.
Now, to play devil's advocate, there is a cheaper AI option. The avatars.
Talking heads, yeah.
Like vidBoard or Synthesia. I see those everywhere.
Yes, and those are much cheaper. You're looking at anywhere from, say, 50 cents to about $2 per minute.
Okay, so that brings the cost way down.
It does. For a 500-minute season, you're looking at maybe $250 to $1,000. So financially, it's comparable to Voxel. But you have a massive trade-off in quality. This is where we get into the whole AI slop argument.
AI slop. It sounds gross.
It is a harsh term, but it described that uncanny valley effect. These are the videos where the mouth moves a little weirdly, the eyes are dead, there's just no soul.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a 10-episode podcast, asking a listener to stare at a synthetic avatar for 500 minutes, that is a huge ask. You risk alienating your audience completely.
So the real comparison for high-quality output is Voxel at $1,400 versus high-end AI at $15,000 minimum.
It's a 10x price difference, at least, in favor of the physical studio.
And that's just the money. We haven't even touched the prompt engineer tax.
Right. Let's get into that because this is part 2.
Yeah, people assume AI saves time. The fantasy is, I just type a prompt, sip my coffee, and I'm done. But that's not how it works for long form, is it?
Not at all. Let's just compare the workflow. At Voxel, the model is live to tape. You walk in, lights are set, mics are dialed in, you hit record, you talk for 50 minutes, you hit stop, you walk out with the file.
Zero post-production.
Effectively zero. Maybe you trim the start and end. That's it. Now contrast that with the director model of AI. You are script writing, then prompting, then waiting, then refining, then stitching it all together.
And the sources mentioned a specific ratio for rewrites. What was that?
This is critical. For high-quality AI video, the data suggests a rewrite ratio of 3:1 to 5:1.
Meaning what exactly?
Meaning to get 1 minute of usable footage, you are generating 3 to 5 minutes of drafts.
Okay, so let's apply that to our 500-minute season.
If you need 500 minutes of final video, you're now acting as a prompt engineer for potentially 2,500 minutes of generation.
Wow.
You're sifting through 2,000 minutes of garbage footage, hallucinations, physics errors, weird lighting glitches, just to find the good stuff.
That sounds exhausting. You're not a creator anymore. You're quality control. You're like a janitor for the algorithm.
Precisely. You are constantly prompt engineering around mistakes. Oh, the AI made my hand disappear. Oh, the background shifted. You spend hours fixing technical errors instead of creating. And that volume, generating 2,500 minutes of drafts, is exactly why the cost balloons to $15,000.
Because you pay for every single one of those drafts.
You pay for every single pull of that slot machine.
That is a hidden tax that nobody puts on the sales page. But there's another tax, isn't there? The time tax. Rendering.
This is the one that really kills your momentum. We call it rendering latency. When you record with a camera, light hits the sensor, it's recorded instantly. Physics does the work.
It's real time.
Right. With AI, every single pixel has to be calculated by a GPU in a server farm somewhere, and that takes massive processing power.
So how long does it actually take to export an AI video?
For a high-res 4K 50-minute video, the benchmarks say under an hour for the final render.
Under an hour. That doesn't sound too bad on its own.
It sounds fast if you're doing one clip, but do the math for the season. 10 episodes. That is 10 solid hours of just waiting, watching a progress bar.
And that's just the final render.
Yeah.
That doesn't count the time generating all the drafts.
Correct. That doesn't count the hours to days you spend generating the clips, waiting for previews to load, checking if the lip sync worked. It's a huge time sink.
So let's look at the total time commitment.
Yeah.
If I go to Voxel, how long does this season take me?
Voxel uses a batching model. You can record 5 episodes in one day. So for a 10-episode season, you book 2 5-hour sessions. You go to San Pedro twice. You work for 10 hours total. You're done.
2 days, 10 hours of work for 500 minutes of content.
Done. Versus AI. If you factor in the prompting, the rewrites, the stitching, the rendering, estimates are putting the user time commitment at 40 to 80 hours.
80 hours, that's 2 full work weeks.
Think about that. You are spending 2 weeks sitting at a computer, acting as a technical director, fighting with software, versus 2 days sitting in a studio just sharing your ideas.
That is a devastating comparison. It just completely challenges the idea that digital is faster. For this kind of volume, digital is a slog.
It's the difference between efficiency and friction. AI at this scale is just high friction. Voxel is low friction.
Which brings us to the strategic side of things, part 4. Because it's not just about money and time, it's about what this does to you as a business owner. The sources talk about a phenomenon called AI burnout.
Yeah, this is real. It's popping up all over the 2026 market data. Small business owners are suffering from tool overload. They are just tired of learning new apps every week.
They just want to do the work.
Exactly. They're tired of prompt fatigue. They wanted to run a business, not become a prompt engineer. And Voxel's pitch is really operational sanity. It's zero tech friction. You don't have to learn software. You don't debug anything. You just talk.
There's also a really interesting point in here about SEO, search engine optimization. We know Google and Gemini are changing how they rank content.
This is huge. The search engines are fighting a flood of AI-generated content. So they're filtering for what they call EEAT.
That's EEAT. What does it stand for again?
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. The key word there is experience.
And an AI avatar has zero experience.
Exactly. An avatar cannot have experience. It hasn't lived, it hasn't done the work, hasn't failed and learned. But when you film in a physical space like Voxel in San Pedro, you are creating what we call geographic gravity.
Geographic gravity, explain that.
It provides human proof. The search engine sees a real person in a real location with unique lighting, unique audio acoustics. The metadata shows it was filmed in San Pedro, California. That is a signal of high-value content. Synthetic content is increasingly being flagged as low quality or even spam.
So by using AI to save effort, you might actually be making yourself invisible. You're hiding from the algorithm.
Like you're fighting against the algorithm's desire to find humans.
Now, here is where it gets really interesting for the business owners listening, especially if they're thinking about an exit. The valuation argument.
This is the point that usually seals the deal for entrepreneurs. You have to understand copyright law with AI.
AI content is, what is it? Public domain?
Currently, yes. In most jurisdictions, content that's purely generated by an AI cannot be copyrighted. It is considered rented land.
So let's play that out. If I build my entire brand on AI videos, I don't own them?
You don't own the underlying asset in the same way. So if you try to sell your company and a buyer looks at your content library and it's all AI generated, that adds zero value to the asset sheet. Anyone can replicate it.
But if I film myself at Voxel...
That is a proprietary IP asset, a human-authored asset. It is unique to you, it's copyrighted to you, and it increases the valuation of your company because it can't be copied by a competitor with the same $30 subscription.
That is massive. You're building equity versus just burning credits.
Exactly. You are investing in your own stock, not the software companies.
There's one last strategic point the sources mentioned. Liability.
Right. The hallucination risk.
If my AI avatar says something that's false, who's in trouble?
You are. If your AI hallucinates a promise you can't keep, or gives bad advice, or makes a false claim about a product, you are liable for deceptive marketing. You can't blame the bot.
But if I record it myself...
It's a verified human truth.
Yeah,
You said it. You stand by it. It's a record of reality. And in a world of deepfakes, having a verified record of what you actually said is becoming a form of insurance.
So let's bring this all together. We've looked at the money, the time, the strategy. If we look at the summary for a 10-week season, 500 minutes of content.
The winner is clear. Voxel costs significantly less, $1,400 max versus potentially $15,000 for high-end AI.
And time-wise.
It's a landslide.
Yeah.
2 days of work at the studio versus weeks of prompting and render management at home.
It seems like the lesson here is really about right tool, right job.
Precisely. If you need a 30-second clip of a dragon flying over Mars, use AI. It's amazing for that. But if you need 500 minutes of you connecting with your customers, the physical studio is still the most efficient technology we have.
And the sources mentioned the human mirror effect.
Mirror neurons. Biologically, when we watch another human, our brains literally sync up. We feel what they feel. We just don't get that with avatars. That biological advantage is something AI hasn't cracked yet.
So, for the listener who's sitting there with their 10-episode plan, staring at a blank screen, wondering if they should subscribe to that $30 a minute tool.
Stop trying to be a technical director. Go be a voice.
I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. We talked about cost and time, but think about your identity. If you spend 80 hours prompting an AI to represent you, are you really running a business? Or have you just hired yourself as a low-paid animator?
And even more critically, if you sold your company tomorrow, would your content library be a valuable asset that someone wants to buy? Or would it just be a folder of public domain data that anyone with a subscription could generate?
That is the question. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you in the next one.
See you then.